Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Trans Talk, video edition. Pretty cool, huh? What are you going to talk about today? I want to talk about distractions, and I am addicted to distractions. I realized something pretty recently about myself, and it probably something that I've always known about myself, but is becoming more evident is that I will do anything except for the thing that I am supposed to do. Um, and so, I'm supposed to do this, and I have been putting it off for a very long time. But I'm happy to be doing it now. So, like, when I actually do the thing I'm supposed to do, I'm happy. But before I do the thing I'm supposed to do, I avoid it. It might be avoidance, I've been thinking about this. Whenever I bring up that it's hard for me to do things, people try to pathologize it in some way. They say, well, you probably have ADHD or you have some executive dysfunction. And all of that might be true. Maybe I do have those things, and maybe everything would be fixed if I took a pill or if I went to the doctor. I have not done those things. I think I did talk to my therapist who was reading ADHD symptoms for me, and it turns out that I did not have ADHD. So I don't think that's what it is. I think I'm addicted to distractions, and that means I have a huge procrastination problem. Um, so that's what we're going to talk about: distractions and procrastination. I think they go hand in hand, right? Um, all of this under the umbrella of avoidance. Um, I don't know. It's funny. Like I remember as a kid, we would be assigned homework in elementary school, and I remember I would do homework like right when I got home from school. Every day, I would right when I got home, almost like this OCD thing. Like I needed to get it done immediately, and I even did it on Friday. Like on Friday, I'd come home and I would do my homework right on right you know right when I got home from school, even though I had all weekend. And I remember one day I was asking my sister for some help on some homework. It was like Friday night. It was like, no, it's Friday afternoon, and she goes, "Why don't you just do it Sunday night?" And that thought never occurred to me before. I think I was like in second grade or something. And yeah, and then the the I don't know, whatever the thrill was of waiting till the last minute was intoxicating for me like as a kid, and going, I can wait till Sunday night to do this. Like it's really like, stressful, but kind of like gave me like I think it gave me like a little bit of a thrill. And I think that is when my procrastination habit began, was because my sister was too lazy. Not too lazy. Yeah, she wasn't too lazy. She just didn't want to help me because she hated my guts. That's a different reason. So I've just been always distracted. And um I think I should really go to a doctor and analyze why, because it is a huge problem in my life. Um I distract myself from things I'm supposed to do all the time. Like in high school, I was failing all my classes because I was writing a novel. Like I was procrastinating, like doing homework and doing the readings. But what I was actually doing as a distraction was even more work. I was writing a novel for fun, essentially, um, because it was more exciting for me to write the novel than it was to do the homework that was assigned to me. So I was just, yeah, distracting myself with this other thing and procrastinating. So I don't know where this comes from. I I think it's like whatever I'm trying to avoid is probably I'm trying to avoid the present reality, right? I think that's kind of where this all comes from if I'm really thinking about it, is why would I be distracting myself from stuff if I was actually enjoying the reality that I'm experiencing, right? I would not be distracting myself. If I was enjoying reality, I would just be enjoying reality, like present reality, what we are now, right? Like what I'm doing now is enjoying recording this podcast. I'm not distracting myself right now because I'm focused on my work. So is an example of enjoying my work, right? Like when I'm doing this, or when I'm on stage, or when I'm doing a roast battle, or when I'm judging, it's very rare that my mind wanders. It happens every now and then, but like I'm pretty focused on the task at hand. And so when I'm on stage, I don't really get distracted. When I'm here, I don't really get distracted. I'm having a little bit of an out of body experience right now though, because I'm recording a video with a microphone, and Christina, who put this together, she was like kind of in the back the first one like listening and kind of laughing and responding, but she had to like kind of she painted all this and she had to go and go back into the house, take a shower and all that. So I'm kind of just like by myself in this fucking room. Um and I'm almost like dissociating a little bit. Man, to be honest with you guys, I'm dissociating a little bit. And I don't know if this even goes along with the topics that I'm talking about, but I feel like I just need to be honest when I'm doing this podcast. This podcast is my honest feelings about things. And it's like I'm almost like listening to myself through a different I'm like watching myself do this right now. And the last time I dissociated like this is when I came out as trans to my mom. So you are witnessing a live dissociation, right? Pretty fucking cool. What? So let me just sit with this for a second before I get back to the topic I was talking about. Um, I feel like right now what I'm really thinking about is, man, I really like the sound of my own voice. Like, I can I can like hear myself kind of rambling a little bit, almost babbling. Like maybe I'm repeating myself a little bit, and I'm kind of getting like, oh, you shouldn't be repeating yourself, but my real thought is like, but man, don't you like love the sound coming out? Like I love the sound of my voice. It's disgusting how much I love the sound of my voice. Like it's embarrassing how much I love it. Like when I'm listening to my stand up, which I do, and I'm finished masturbating, it's barely a joke, but I think to myself, man, that voice is like smooth like butter. It is fucking smooth as fuck. And I remember like one time I like lost my voice for a couple days, and I remember just texting people and I said, "What am I going to do without the money maker?" Imagine non-ironically calling your voice the money maker. Oh, the arrogance of this kid. Anyway, as I was saying, ironically, this episode is about distractions. And I literally just distracted myself from my own podcast to let you know about a dissociation I'm having. Because I think I kind of like started this podcast about distractions and I didn't have like as much of a roadmap as I wanted to. Because here's the thing is that if I don't just like go and do the thing I'm supposed to do, right? Like if I wasn't just like push play, I have an idea of distractions. I feel very strongly about it, and we need to fucking push play now because if we don't push play, I'm just not gonna fucking do the thing, Like, I remember my ex once talking about momentum, right? I have momentum right now. I'm dressed up. I have a wig on. I put on my makeup. Let's do the fucking podcast now. And there were a couple of topics I want to talk about, and I think the reason I want to talk about distractions is because it's not it's something in my life that has kept me from getting to where I really need to be. Like distractions can be anything. They can be addictions, they can be marijuana or alcohol. I know that I'm prone to something called limerence. People always ask me whether I have a little bit of lisp. It's limerence, and it's basically if you're like addicted to a person, right? It's like a crush on steroids, but it's not necessarily like a sexual thing. It's like kind of romantic maybe, but I don't think it necessarily has to be romantic. But you kind of start relying on somebody else's reactions to you to gauge your own self worth, right? So it's like you're addicted to a person, and however they talk to you, right? Like if they message you, it's like a high, and then when they don't, it's like this giant low, right? So some of you are watching this, realizing right now that you've had some kind of limerence in your life, and I think most Americans do. A lot of the way that love is shown on TV and movies in America, you're actually just watching limerence take place. It's like this kind of sometimes it's mutual limerence, it's a mutual obsession with one another, and I'm very prone to limerence. Like since I was a kid, since I was like in fourth grade, I had limerence. And why did I have limerence when I was a young kid? It's because I didn't have love at home. I had inconsistent love sometimes. I had a parent who was an alcoholic, a parent who was bipolar, and a sister who, I mean, she's not listening to this anyway, right? She's cuckoo. I'm sorry if you're listening. I don't know what kind of cuckoo you are, but she once told me that she doesn't need medication, and I'm like, If I need medication, then so do you. Um, if you're listening, I'm really sorry. I don't know if you. Why would you even listen to my career? You're my sister. That you barely like me. Okay, this took a turn. I'm so sorry. I'm just saying the reason I had limerence is because my home life was so awful, right? That I would escape in fantasies, and the best way to escape is to look to what was shown as love on TV the most, which was romantic love. And so I would fall in love with these fantasies. Like I would just kind of pick somebody and I would like develop limerence for them. This is way before I knew what limerence was. I only found out what the word was like a year ago, okay? I didn't know that whatever I was experiencing for decades of my life was limerence. And so that's what you do when you reject the current reality that you're in. You don't know how to self-soothe, right? You don't know how to self-soothe because reality is so difficult for you to process that you find a distraction for it. So like some people distract themselves through this. And that's kind of what I did for a very long time. And it's like kind of jarring to look back on it because the thing about limerence, right? And I would say distractions in general is when you kind of like get out of it, when you kind of like get out of the pattern, um you look back in kind of horror about like how much time you wasted. That's kind of the sad thing about distractions is how much time did I fucking waste to avoid doing the thing that I want to do or that I need to do, right? So, basically, yeah, it's like a slot machine is what people say. It's like limerence is like a slot machine. It's like, oh, you pull the thing. Oh, they message me. Oh, I'm so happy. I got like $1 million, and then they don't. And oh, I'm so sad. It's like the same exact like up and down, and you can really distract yourself with this story and ruminate about something that's not really happening because it even though the limerence itself feels like agonizing, right? It can feel so real. It can feel like so painful. The pain is real, but the thing that you're pained about, like, is literally a story that you're telling yourself. It's a story that you become attached to, and you need the story because you need to distract yourself from what is happening in your current present life. So I think that is why I distract myself so much, or that I did distract myself so much, is um, just like being very unhappy with the present moment. And when I really think about why, like I'm figuring this out as I'm talking, is I just think I didn't really like being around myself, Like that must be what it is, right? Like I mean, I distracted myself with like limerence because of my home life and all that stuff, and I was really depressed. But since I was distracting myself with obsessing with other people, it means that I never developed a sense of myself, right? Like I'm still at this very moment as recording this podcast, I am trying to figure out who I am in real time. Um, and I don't know who that person is yet. I was always like, I don't know, taken care of by somebody. Um, and it's only been very recent that I kind of like had to kind of be on my own, right? And all of a sudden, these distractions I had, like they weren't like serving me anymore. And I still have them, by the way. This is like a work in progress, right? Like this is a work in progress. Um, that like, oh my god, let me escape in these fantasies because reality is too hard to take. Whatever reality is, right? And reality being hard to take now that I look back on it isn't just like your circumstances, but it's about who you are, like how you feel about yourself at all times. And I think if you don't like who you are, or maybe even deeper than that, like maybe you don't even know who you are. You don't even know what you like or what you want or what you desire, right? It's going to be very disorienting. It's going to be very like scary if you have a moment to have these moments where you think, "Well, fuck, I feel like alone right now. Like who am I? Like who am I with right now?" Because I'm with myself, but I don't know who I am, so I feel fucking terrified and alone. Fuck, I feel so scared. Oh, you know what? I wonder what blah blah is doing. Oh my god, I wonder have they texted me back? Like it's like a very um convenient way to distract yourself from yourself, like to distract yourself from your lack of self or your sense of self. And I do think when I like really look back on it, that is a lot of what I was doing, was just like trying to distract myself from how unhappy I was to be with me because I didn't know who I was. And um what's happening now, like I don't know, I feel like I have this habit of distraction still. It's kind of this thing that I've kind of just lived with my whole life, right? You can't just like break a pattern just because you know about it. So now I distract myself from the things I actually actively want to do. Like I want to do this podcast. I want to go do stand up. I want to travel and do more shows, right? That is kind of, I'm realizing in real time, that's who I am and that's what I want to do and that's who I really want to be. I'm learning this in real time. Um, a lot of people have told me that they're very excited for this. Like, because it's like they're watching Robin Tran finally figure it all out, right? People have been fucking waiting for so long for Robin Tran to figure her shit out because she's too talented to not be, let's face it, a multimillionaire, right, folks? Um, I'm figuring it out, and so people are excited. And I just want everyone watching this to know, if you're a fan of mine, if I were you, I would also be very excited to see what I'm going through right now. But I just want you to remember that I can't be excited as much yet because I'm me and I'm currently in the middle of it. And it is fucking scary. It's really, guys, it is really scary. I am so scared all the fucking time right now. I'm terrified. Like I think before I was distracting myself from the fear of like not knowing who I was, the fear of being abandoned, the fear of, like being alone. I mean, the fear of basically being alone, basically. I think that was kind of what I was afraid of. So, kind of do anything to distract yourself from that feeling of loneliness, right? Um, but now I think I'm distracting myself from like embracing who I'm becoming. I don't, it's almost like it's happening so fast that I don't know how to deal with it. And like, I'm going through a metamorphosis right now. I know that sounds like really cringe, but I mean, I'm not the only person who has said it. So I just, for the record, multiple people have told me I'm going through a metamorphosis right now. Um, and this metamorphosis has been kind of going on for, I would say, I don't know, a little under 2 months now, which is, for me, the past 2 months have literally felt like 5 years. Like I've been through so much change in the past 2 months that like it's a, like a fucking whiplash. Like I can barely keep up with how much I'm changing, how much things are changing, how much I'm figuring out about myself. So now my distraction is actually, it's a different kind of fear. It's a fear of who I'm becoming, and I think it's fear of the inevitable. I really do think it's fear of the inevitable, where like I think a lot of people. No, I won't say a lot of people, but like I have friends who see me before I see myself, and I've had a few friends saying like, "Yeah, you already know all the stuff that you're gonna figure out," and that's such a poignant, scary thing to hear. Like, what am I gonna figure out, right? Like, I'm always like kind of scared about what am I gonna figure out that I always knew, and and I do think that like I when I'm doing something like this, right? I'm a little self-conscious that I'm babbling a little bit and I'm rambling a little bit and like, the thoughts aren't connected as much as they should be. But I'm pretty confident that it's entertaining, you know? I'm confident that my cadence is good, that I'm saying interesting things. Pretty confident about that stuff. When I'm on stage, I know I'll be great, I know that I'm witty. I know that I'm fucking one of the greatest comedians to ever live. Like, I know this. I fucking know this. Um, I just never took those pieces of confidence outside of the comedy world. And now that I kind of am, like, the things I always knew about myself are coming out. And it's really scary to embrace these parts of myself. Like it's really scary to know that I'm capable and smart and all this shit. It's fucking so scary, you know? Like um every time I have a high, it like reaches like I think it's called like a post excuse me, it's like a post happiness crash, I think. I'm not really sure if there's a term for it. There's probably a term for it, but like I have all this joy, you know, like all this happiness from doing something that like was is so out of my normal character and accomplishing something great, you know, or having like a real genuine connection with somebody, like a moment of true vulnerability. Um, like I'm always like really fucking almost like depressed afterwards. Like it's so difficult for me to keep up that good mood, you know? Like after I record this podcast, I'm like so happy while I'm doing it, right? Like I'm so stoked about doing this podcast right now. I'm so happy to be talking to you. But once the podcast ends and then the next 5 minutes I have this kind of this high from doing this podcast, I'm gonna go back in to my room, to the little apartment I'm in, and I'm just going to be really fucking sad. That's something that I've learned in you know only in the past week or so. I think this has probably been like a lifelong pattern that I'm only now realizing. Um, is that like I'm distracting myself when you know when I get like sad, right? Like I get very sad, I get very tired after I do something like this. That I dip my toes back into old patterns that I used to distract myself with before I started getting better. You know, like because like if if I'm feeling happy and then it kind of there's a little crash and it comes down and I'm feeling sad, I don't know what else to do when I'm feeling this way other than when I'm down here. I should reach around for things that I usually do when I'm down here, right? Like I'll get addicted to like I don't know, fighting on the internet or something, right? Or I'll get addicted to like porn or something, right? Like I'll get addicted to something. I'll like become fixated on like figuring out if somebody's mad at me or not, you know? Like I'll start distracting myself from the reality that what I just did was fucking amazing. Like that reality is so hard for me to handle that I can be somebody who is like that. So it used to be that I was distracting myself because I was afraid that I didn't know who I was, and now I'm distracting myself because I'm terrified of who I'm becoming and who I know deep down inside that I actually am. Like I had, you know, the episode about ambition. You know, I've always had these lofty ambitions, and yeah, a lot of the distractions I've been doing in my life have been a distraction from this current reality. You know, it's really fucking scary to have. God, my friend is a college professor, and she was reading a post I was writing about this, you know, like about the responsibility of your own greatness, and she quoted like, "With great power comes great responsibility," and I was like, "Oh God, I'm Uncle Ben." Oh, I think I'm so deep, and everything I fucking say is like corny as shit because like Peter Parker's uncle said it already. Like, Robin, get a grip. You take yourself too fucking seriously. You're a comedian. Calm down already. Take it easy. Take it down a notch. Um, I don't know. I've always been, uh, yeah, the distraction thing is, well, you know, like when I think about what I'm distracting myself from, you know, it's like I, since I don't have a map yet, right, for who I'm gonna become. Like I have an idea, right, but I don't know for sure. Your brain will go to like what is familiar. It's like a self protective thing, right? So if your brain is used to wondering if someone's mad at you, or ooh, let me go watch some porn to like self regulate or whatever, right? Your brain's gonna go to that, even if it doesn't feel good. It's not as scary, right? So I think it's like the terror of being alone or feeling alone versus the terror now of becoming whole. Um, is just a different kind of fear. I think that I prefer this one, honestly. Like I do prefer this fear, uh, because I just experience more joy than I used to. I would like there to be a time when I just don't really have like distractions at all. Like I mean that's impossible. I think at all is a pretty like lofty goal, right? But I remember there was a moment um a couple weeks ago, maybe like a month ago, where there was about a 4 or 5 hour period when I realized that I had been in some kind of state of distraction or limerence for like the past few decades, like some kind of the state of distraction, right? Like this kind of current, like this constant state of distraction for my life. I can't really describe what happened in this moment, but I'll try to describe how it felt, right? I felt like I saw this pattern of behavior that I had been exhibiting for decades, the pattern of behavior of how I've always looked at relationship dynamics from since I was a kid to adulthood, and it didn't matter if it was a friend, a partner, family member. It didn't matter. It's not really about that. It's about the anxiety I would have figuring out how somebody else felt about me, right? That obsession with that mystery, right? So for like when I like saw the mystery like right in front of me, and it was like undeniable evidence of this mystery going on fucking for decades, a wave of relief hit me so hard. Like I felt I felt free for the first time since I was a kid. And it was like I remember I was in West Hollywood. I was like dog sitting during this time. And I just remember I was dog sitting, and I stepped out of the shower. That's when I had this moment. That's like I just remember like the moment I was exactly, and it was like like this entire weight like lifted off me. I felt like I was flying, you know, because I realized at that moment that I don't have any distractions right now. It was kind of an eerie feeling, and I remember thinking like, what am I going to think about now that I don't have these distractions? What do I think about? It's like a blank canvas. It's kind of that's its own kind of fear, right? What am I going to paint? What am I going to think about without all these worries and all these obsessions and everything and without all these distractions, right? Um and then my friend came over and we finished the pilot. Like that's what my brain does when I'm not distracted by something. That's the potential I have, is that when I am focused and in good spirits and everything and I'm not distracted, I write pilots, I write hours, I do all this stuff, but inevitably, like, I think revelations kind of they can come and go. Um so unfortunately, it didn't last forever, right? Like it kind of came back, all the fucking, even the logic and the brain, and knowing that this is a pattern that that I broke for a few hours, and that I feel so much better without the kind of distractions and everything. Um, I know you can't feel good forever, right? So it unfortunately only lasted a few hours. Like it's like flowers for Algernon almost, but for emotions. Um, but it means it's possible. It means it's possible for me to get to a point where I just feel so uninhibited, whatever that word is, by distractions, that I will just kind of do fucking comedy. Like, do more comedy, right? Like, it's so I've been distracting myself so much in life about what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to be? Like, these crazy questions I have when I'm depressed, when the answer, it's like the answer is always right there every time, and every time I forget the answer, is that if I want to be happy, I have to be doing podcasts and stand-up comedy. And that's it. That's what makes me happy. It makes me so happy to perform. Even, something happened like a few days ago that has never happened before, where every time I've bombed on stage in the past 13 years, it has felt awful, right? Like it felt like, except for one time I thought I killed when I bombed because my meds were off and I was manic. I don't count that. That was a crazy anomaly in all this. But besides that one time, um, every time I bomb, I feel like this horrible embarrassment, this guilt, this shame, this anger. Like, oh my god, this crowd thinks I suck, and I want to prove to them that I'm really good at this thing. Right? I want to prove it to them. But yeah, so like I've been kind of building this momentum of being in the comedy world, right? In some way, like whether it's judging roast battle or going to open mics or sending out emails to bookers and trying to get my merchandise or doing my website. Like I'm kind of like surrounding myself in a world of comedy now, right? Like this kind of world that I've been kind of avoiding almost, right? Um, and so I reached out to somebody, the host of Potluck at the Comedy Store, which is like an open mic where a lot of people can sign up, but also they have like people can do drop-in spots. And I actually reached out to see if I can do a drop-in spot. I would. By the way, that's completely new. I notoriously bad at reaching out to people, and notoriously bad at knowing my worth and knowing that people fucking like me and care about me, right? And I reached out to do potluck, and he said, "Yeah, come in. We'll put you up, right?" And I went up. I did 3 minutes, and I kind of bombed. Like I kind of bombed, but I felt amazing. Like I felt amazing. Like I'm telling you guys, this has never happened to me before, because a few days ago, my friend Christina, who she left, and she left the recorder on. She's like, hopefully she'll be back soon. I don't know how I'm going to stop this if she doesn't come back soon, but she kind of like, she was telling me about like how I can become obsessed with like a certain time period or a person or whatever, because that was when I felt alive, right? That was when you felt really alive. So she's basically asking me like, what makes you feel fucking alive, Robin? What makes you feel fucking alive? Because you're going to die one day. Like we're all going to die. So what do you want to do? Like, and it took me like 15 minutes for me to go like, what makes me feel powerful? Oh, stand-up comedy. I don't know why it took me 15 minutes to fucking think of that, you know? And when I really thought about like, out of all the things I do in life, it is my greatest joy to be on stage with a microphone. It is my greatest joy. It is something that I don't want to admit to myself, because I don't know. It's because it's vulnerable to do it, right? It's vulnerable to like go on stage with a microphone, no matter how long you've been doing it for or how many times you've done it. It's a vulnerable thing, right? But this time at Potluck, when I bombed and it felt kind of amazing, it was the first time when I realized, like, who cares how you did? Like, really, like if I have been bombing for a decade straight and I never got good, I mean that's something, right? That's like maybe I should quit. But I've killed like hundreds of times, so I know I'm funny, right? So like that is not something that I need to concern myself with anymore. That is a new thought, by the way. Like I used to be like, oh my god, if I bomb, I'm terrible and people aren't gonna think I'm funny. Now I see it as like, oh, that was just not a good night for me. That is very new. That is a very new Robin Tranism of like perspective, right? Um, but that's when I realized like that is it. That's the solution. It's just if you're depressed, just do some more stand up. Um, and I think one of the reasons I was avoiding it, I'm avoiding it for several reasons. One is kind of like I kind of hate stand up, not the art form, but I kind of hate the culture around it. I hate a lot of the comedians that kind of enabled fascists and everything, right? So I hate the culture around it, but I actually like, love the actual act of doing it. So when I bombed, which is a very rare occurrence, but and I felt awesome. It was like kind of the first time when I realized like I really liked the goal I had was like, you love performing. This is what makes you feel alive. I was telling them your advice, what makes you feel fucking alive, Rob? And I was telling them about how you looked at me and said, you're gonna fucking die one day. What do you want to do? I was saying, Christina's back. And so like that really like kind of lit a fire in me, and I realized like, who cares if I bombed, if I went out and I did the thing that makes me the happiest and that makes me feel most alive. And I felt like really energized after I bombed. That's never happened before. Um, and it just kind of clicked in my head. This mystery, this thing I've been distracting myself from my whole life, is the thing that I need to do the most, is stand-up comedy. I just need to do more stand-up comedy. I need to do more of these podcasts, because when I do these things, I feel more myself than any other time, because I've studied this craft for so fucking long. You know, the thing about stand-up comedy is I make jokes that I've been good at it right away, and I have been very good at it. I have this kind of cocky arrogance about it. But the truth is that I have been studying stand-up since I was 7 years old. it's like not a it's like that means it's over 30 years I've been studying this craft, and I've been studying it meticulously because I've always wanted to get good at this thing, right? And then I became very good at this thing. Um, but there were things that were stopping me from doing my favorite thing, right? That's when all the distractions came into play. The limerence and the marijuana and all this other stuff is like, oh god, I gotta leave the house and I gotta get to the venue and I need to wait. Like waiting for a while was like the hardest part of stand up. Like I gotta fucking wait. I have to like think about what I'm gonna say, and I like waiting backstage and like waiting until you go up. Like I had so much anxiety for so long. Like before I was medicated for my bipolar, like doing stand up was torture for me. Like not the stand up. The stand up itself was the only part of it that wasn't torture for me. Like it was basically like traveling was torture, waiting was torture, you know? But man, that hour or whatever I'd be on stage, I'd be so fucking happy. I'd be like, this is it. This is what I meant to do. And then, then you kind of go back home and then you kind of forget, because of time, right? Then the next time I'm booked, I'm like, oh, you got to fly to this state, you got to do this and that. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to fly. And I think about like how little I want to do the things, that would lead me to the thing that would make me happy. So that's why I think I kind of distract myself with all this bullshit, like for real, like, um, because it's a hassle to get to a fucking stage. It's like it's such a hassle. It's such a hassle to drive there or Uber there and to wait and to talk to fucking people you don't want to talk to, and you don't know how this crowd's gonna be. Are they gonna be good? Are they gonna be bad? Are they gonna like your joke? Are they gonna all this shit? All this anxiety. Um, but what I need to do is I need to just push past all that shit and just remind myself like, this is what you love doing. So like, who gives a fuck if you bomb? Who gives a fuck if you have to wait a little bit? Stay focused. Do what makes you feel alive, and you'll feel like fewer distractions. That's kind of the thesis of this. I think is a distraction is something that you're doing so you don't think about the present moment, and so that you don't think about how much you don't like yourself. You know, so for me, it was like a lack of self, and now it's like the fear of the whole self that I'm becoming. So, yeah, now it's like it's funny. I'm gonna almost make this like promise on this podcast. Like I'm gonna do more stand up. I'm gonna fucking kill it. I'm gonna do all this shit. But I also know in my heart from what I said earlier that I'm gonna have a post happiness crash, and then I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna almost like forget. Like stand up is what makes you the happiest. This is what you need to do, right? The realistic thing is this camera's gonna shut off, and for 10 or 15 minutes I'll be really happy, and then I'll go back inside, and then I will forget that this is what's make me happy, and then I will distract myself with some other bullshit. So hopefully, just saying it out loud will keep me accountable. For me to stop doing that shit, because honestly, like, I'll leave you with something that I think that you'll find funny. When I was on the first date with my now ex, it was like I was like 3 months into comedy, and I acted like a 25-year veteran. I was like, oh, stand up is so hard. I mean, I've done it all. Like I've done the improv, like, and then I'm like, I'm thinking about quitting, and my ex looked at me, called my bluff, and said, well, why don't you quit then? And I literally said, without any kind of irony or hyperbole, I said, I can't do that to the world. and I meant that with all my heart. And I think that is one of the reasons I haven't quit, was because I want to put comedy out in the world that I would enjoy seeing. And nobody else in the entire world is doing that except for me. Okay, is that a good way to end things? Is that I'm my favorite comedian of all time? Okay, guys, I hope that made sense. I didn't have an audience for most of it, Christina, so this might be a clusterfuck of an episode. I had a dissociative moment in the middle. You'll love seeing that. I started dissociating live on camera. It's pretty cool. Everyone, like and subscribe. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to Trans Talk. Bye.
We'll clip the dissociative moment. It was great.